All right, welcome back to the Dirt Beers podcast. This is episode number 27. Our guest this week is Ryan Timms, but before we get to that, gotta get to our housekeeping stuff and thank our sponsor, Inland Rigging. Inland Rigging is a machinery moving and warehousing company based out of Southern California, offering local, domestic, and international moving services. Whether you have one piece of machinery, a complete factory, or even a warehouse, Inland Ring has you covered. With a deep family history in the business dating back to 1904. Inland Ring continues the same family values that has made Inland Ring the right choice for so many years. Like I said before, this week we got Ryan Timms on the show. Ryan, thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah, happy you guys had me on here.
Yeah, happy that we could make it work out. Where are you at in the world? You were telling us just off air. You're out at the shop in South Dakota right now?
Yeah, Rapid City, South Dakota. That's where the team's based out of, and I live in Oklahoma, and my family's in Oklahoma. But um, at the beginning of the year, they had one full-time guy, so I'd come up here and help, and then just kind of stuck, and now I'm pretty much here permanently.
Nice. So we like to start the episode out by getting to know our guests a little bit. So Ryan, how old are you? And you just said you're from Oklahoma. What part of Oklahoma?
I'm from Oklahoma City, between like Moore and Mustang, if anyone's familiar with Oklahoma City. I'm 18 years old. I'll be 19 in August, just after Nationals, August 26th. And yeah, I race cars, and that's about it.
So, you're one of our younger guests that we've had on. So what is the I guess plan going forward? Is it to pursue a racing career full time? Do you have parents in your ear trying to talk to you about doing the college thing? Where's the life plans at right now?
Yeah, so I finished high school, and then I never, I don't plan on going to college, and I didn't never have planned on it. My dad, he owns a trucking company in Oklahoma City, and so I've been racing since I was 9, and going down this path, and racing is the main goal. I want to be a world outlaw sprint car champion, or like a full-time competitor, and always be up front contending for world outlaw and high limit races. So that's the goal. But I'm fortunate enough to have a little backup plan. But try to make racing work, and then if for whatever reason that doesn't happen, then I'll figure something out.
Yeah. So I want to talk about, you just mentioned you started when you were 9 racing. Where was that start? Was it go-karts, or what got you into getting behind the wheel?
Yeah, so my dad, he raced dirt late models and modifieds. He was bigger into the modified stuff and had a lot more success in modifieds around. He traveled quite a bit, but majority around the Midwest, and then he moved up to late models, and he was good in the late models. I don't know this, but I feel like he was always just kind of a little behind on setup. Not it's those late models are a whole different deal. So, but I grew up going to all his races, and being at the racetrack all the time, traveling on the road. We had a toter home, and so I've always been accustomed to the dirt racing life, I guess. And um, from a real early age, I knew I wanted to race. And when I was about 6 years old, somewhere around there, I did start racing, and I think I was just scared, and I didn't like it, and I quit for a couple years, and I was still a little kid, so obviously stuff changed, and I decided I wanted to try it again. And I did all the sports, all the basic sports everyone does, and that was all right. But then we started racing again, and that was when I was 9, and I started in junior sprints out at I-44 Riverside Speedway, which is
Okay, yeah.
just 5 minutes from my house. And then we go there. Finally got up to speed. The first year maybe it was a little rough, and then we started branching out a little bit and still racing junior sprints. Started branching out a little bit and going to Tulsa and Port City, which would be, I consider that more my home track just because we raced there a lot more often. Um, but we had a toter home, a little small toter home, but still a toter home, and a big for a junior sprint, big Intech trailer. And we pretty much traveled the country racing junior sprints everywhere, and um, slowly moved up. Well, it took me a while to move up from junior sprint to restrictor, and then once we moved up to restrictor, I'm not sure why, but my dad decided to put me in all of them, and we started racing restrictor and A class, non-wing, outlaw, all that stuff. Micros is where I came from, and um, I definitely I don't regret it at all. I love the micro racing, and I still to this day miss the micro days.
Yeah, it's easy to miss that, like when you have so much fun and fond memories like growing up
Yeah.
in that class. When you look at your journey into the sprint car world in terms of the big cars, what was that first taste of like the big car like? What did it feel like behind the wheel? What are your memories from the first time that you went into a full size race car for the first time?
Yeah, my memory's not great on when I first started running the sprint car stuff. Um, I want to say I did midgets first. I think we went and tested for Dave McIntosh,
Okay.
Cannon McIntosh's dad, and we raced when they had a team. We raced for them for a handful of races and um, did okay. I mean, it was more to just get laps and seat time and bigger car. And in the midget deal, I remember hot lapping it and loving it and thought it was awesome and really liked it. But it was on a test track, so
Yeah.
it's a whole different game than when smooth and dry, slick, slow. And then I get out on some racetracks, and I don't remember where my first race was, but I remember being shocked at how much more intense it is and faster and sketchier. Just
Yeah.
it was just so intense, and eventually you just keep doing it enough, you get used to it, and then it becomes normal. But so I did the midget stuff for a little bit, and then we got an old triple X sprint car. It was Parker Price Miller's sprint car originally, and I don't remember who he was driving for, but we did that. We hired on Billy Lawhead was who crew chiefed me in the micro for my whole micro career, from junior sprints to the beginning of sprint cars, and he took me on the road and pretty much raised me. And then we hired Jimmy Jones, who was an old sprint car crew chief. He crew chief Dustin Morgan, Robert Blue, guys like that. And then we went and tested out at Meeker Red Dirt Raceway in Meeker, Oklahoma. And from what I remember, it went really well. I actually, before that, I did hot lap at 305. I just remembered it was Wayne Johnson's 305,
Oh, okay.
and out at Ardmore in Oklahoma, and that went really well. Just making laps, and um, anyway, we get going, and I think our first race was at Lakeside in Kansas City, and it was a 360 ASTS race. I don't remember if it was national or regional, but I remember Covington and Hahn,
Yeah.
the national guys were there, and um, it was it's a big difference going from small tracks to a big half mile like that, and um, I I remember it's really hard to explain. It was just the craziest experience, and um it felt like I was going a million mile an hour and just trying to hold on for dear life. And I actually remember thinking like, man, I don't know I'm really cut out for this. It's pretty crazy. And then, like before, we just kept doing it, and eventually just, got more comfortable. It became normal, and started to win pretty quickly. And then we're here where we are now.
So, talking about those wins, do you remember your first win and where it was?
My first sprint car win,
Yeah.
yes, it was at Lake Ozark, and it was a ASCS race, and I want to say it was a regional race, but all the national guys were there for it.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to remember. I've won 2 or 3 ASCS races at Lake Ozark, and I'm trying to remember which race it was, but I want to say there was one night it was really rough and everyone was flipping.
Oh, yeah.
Guys over there would remember it, but um, I really don't remember my first win exactly what happened, but I remember the night, and um, you know, leading up to that point, I was just getting comfortable. I mean, I might run fifth to 10th is kind of where I
Yeah.
put myself, somewhere in there, and then I remember hot lapping that night actually, and I just felt it was my first time there. I felt really good, and um, it was it was the first time I felt like I could win or had a chance at winning.
Yeah.
And I think there was Seth Bergman was one of them. He was talking crap, and some ASCS guys just talking crap, and not all of them, but um, it was funny because then next night out we go and win, and once we started winning with them, it was like we couldn't lose with them, and it was it was probably a 4 month stretch where we kind of dominated with ASCS, and it was definitely that one of my favorite times in my career.
From the highs to the lows, though, I gotta ask, in terms of maybe the first big wreck you ever had, or maybe your biggest wreck, what was that moment like? You're still a young kid and you've had all this experience in the big cars already, really, when compared in your life to some of the other drivers that are around your age. What was the first big wreck that you remember, and has how much did it stay with you, or how long did it take you to shake off that fear, that feeling of your first big wreck?
hmm I couldn't tell you my first big wreck in a midget or sprint car. I don't really remember that, but I do remember my first big wreck in a micro. And it was out at I-44. I think it was my first ever race in the non-wing micro, and it was on my birthday, and uh, it it was a heat race. I was running last in the heat race. It was juiced up, and Chase Randall, he went to slide me for eighth, which we're friends, and we crack jokes about it still, but he went to slide me, and just it was the worst slider ever, and it was just straight right rear, and I just went barrel rolling, and I have a video. My grandma was videoing, and as soon as the car takes off, you just hear her start screaming, and the camera go down, and yeah, so that was a great birthday present from Chase, but
That's,
um, it didn't really rattle my cage a whole lot. I mean, I knew it happened, and it was part of it.
yeah.
And then very shortly after that, I was running restrictor still, and me and Dason Persley were racing. I'm not sure if this was the same night or not. It might have been a different night actually, but um, I was racing, and I was running third, fourth, and a guy pinched me in between the wall down the straightaway, and I just dug the nose in and just kind of went end over end, and my belt actually came undone whenever it
Oh,
happened. My arm restraint got caught, and my steering wheel obviously held me in, and it bent the steering wheel up, and I don't think a lot of people know about that, but like there's a spot in my leg where my steering wheel was holding me in, and it's still numb to this day for some weird reason.
wow.
um, just kind of a interesting story, but those really didn't worry or scare me a whole lot for whatever reason. Maybe just really young. And then the wreck that really kind of freaked me out I was at Port City in a non-wing car. It was a heat race. I went between the wall and a guy down the straightaway and got pinched, and then same thing, just end over end, and it just hurt every part of my body, and just not a fun experience. And
Yeah.
after that, it was probably a year or two where I had this fear of going between guys on the wall, and then eventually, it wears off and you get over it.
Yeah. So I
But
want I want to talk. Obviously you're at the shop and working on these race cars. If you were not the guy holding the steering wheel and you were working on a sprint car team, what position on the team do you think you would suit the best? Would you be a crew chief? Would you be a car chief? Would you be a tire guy?
I definitely want to be a crew chief. I know nothing about setup and nothing about how to make a car go fast. I would say I'd be the tire guy. It's just
Yeah.
the easiest, the simplest. I really hate doing it. Yeah, I don't hate it, but I kind of do it. But it's got to be done, and
Yeah.
I'd definitely be doing something else with my time if I wasn't racing
Yeah.
myself. But yeah, I'd say tire guy. It's the easiest, simplest, and it's a lot of work, but it doesn't require a lot of thinking. So you can just
Yeah.
kind of bust it out and get done with it.
So with the team in South Dakota and then your home being in Oklahoma, what does a typical race week look like for you, Ryan?
Um, well, normally, or as of lately, it's Knoxville and Huset's on the weekend, and then um, an outlaw or high limit race during the week, every now and again. But typically, it's we go to Knoxville, race, go to Huset's race, then we head back Sunday night after we get done racing, which from Huset's to here is 5 hours, which is the closest track to them. So everywhere's a haul, and we get back around 4 in the morning, and we wake up the next day around 2 noon, somewhere around there, and then come to the shop. The first day, which would be Monday, is normally just cleaning everything, cleaning the trailer, cars, tires, everything. And then the rest of the week is just tires, maintenance, everything to get ready for the race week. And we wake up at, well, Marty and Ben, they wake up at 8 and get here by 8:30 and work till 5 or sometimes later. I'm supposed to be here by 9 and go till 5 or later, but I'm not a morning person, and sometimes I just turn the alarm off and go back to bed.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, no, it's just work during the day, and then find something fun to do in the evening, like basketball, golf, or something.
Yeah.
Not super exciting, just kind of a
No.
basic life.
Yeah. So we've asked everybody this question, but I want to know, Ryan, do you have any race day superstitions?
No, not really. The only thing I don't know if it'd really be a superstition, but I want to sleep in on the day I race.
Yeah.
Like, don't wake me up. Just let me sleep till I naturally wake up, and
Yeah.
for whatever reason, when I'm low on sleep, I feel like I'm not gonna race as well. So, but that would be the only superstition. Other than that, I'm not oh, I don't peanuts. I'm not.
All right. Yeah.
Peanuts is not a good deal. That's not allowed, which I'm allergic, so it works out.
There you go. There you go.
Fair enough.
Yeah, okay.
Well, Beef, I think it's time we put Ryan on the clock here. We have a segment called Ripping the Top. It's a time segment. We're going to give you 4 questions, 4 unique turns, if you will. Beef's going to time you, and we'll see where you end up on the speed charts here.
All right.
We just had Chase Rodman almost break the record. He was on our podcast that's going to join Trop coming up here. And, man, the bar is set pretty high. It's a fast time.
Well, I'm not a fast thinker, so we'll see. Mid
So
pack is my goal.
okay. So Ryan, all 4 questions are food and drink related. So I'm gonna count you in 3, 2, 1, and then I'm gonna start asking the questions. As soon as you answer, I'm going to move on to the next one. Okay.
All right.
Okay. So here we go. 3, 2, 1. Favorite beer or drink?
Dr. Pepper.
Favorite truck stop, snack, and drink combo?
Bub's Travel Stop, Takis, and a sweet tea.
Top 3 pizza toppings?
Pepperoni, cheese,
Favorite
basic.
wing flavor?
Buffalo.
That felt pretty
Okay.
good. I
It
don't know if
wasn't
that's a
bad. It wasn't
record, but
bad.
that
It's
was pretty
definitely
good.
your mid pack guess is pretty
Sure.
good. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So
All right.
our quick time, I need to tell you, is 18 seconds flat. So
That's
and
right on me.
you timed in 21-7. So not bad.
I'll take that. I'll take that.
Yeah.
It's got to
Yeah.
be pretty. Oh, everyone's got to be pretty close, though.
You're definitely mid pack, I would say, because we got a lot on here 24, 28, 29. Like,
They were somewhat easy questions. I was expecting to have to think a little harder, honestly.
yeah.
No, we keep it easy for you. Nothing too challenging. Although, didn't we say who was it a couple weeks ago? Beef. Somebody was describing. One question was like a turn of a racetrack, but I can't remember which racetrack and which.
The second question, it was Jack Leaner said that the second question was kind of like turn 2 at Alltech Speedway in Florida.
Oh, that's right. That's what it was.
Yeah.
It's a tricky one. You got to think about that truck stop thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So diving back into it here, Ryan, something I wanted to ask about that really impressed me in doing some research on it was your website, ryantimsracing.com. I mean, I know a lot of drivers out there have somewhat decent websites, but tell us a little bit about having your setup and what inspired that. What was the idea behind it, and how much involvement do you have in the day-to-day operation of the website, or are you just kind of like the guy that checks it from time to time, make sure there's no
Yeah.
spelling mistakes?
No, honestly, I don't have any involvement with the website. I love the website. I think it's an awesome design on it, and it's good for. It makes it really easy for fans to get on there and look through it and find whatever they want. But my dad and mom, they take care of all that, and um, I get on. I mean, I handle the t-shirt trailer and t-shirts and all that, and but other than that, they take care of it, and I can't stand that stuff. So and I think they kind of like it, so I just let them take care of it. But no, the website's great, and they did a great job designing it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I checked it out earlier today. It's definitely a great layout and very informative for the fans. But
Right.
I want to talk, Brian, about your 2025 so far. We got your stats here. Right now, you've run 29 features, 6 wins, 12 top 5s, and 17 top 10s. You're one of these guys that is not committed to a tour. You're running the pick and choose deal. What brought you guys, you and your team, to decide to do that and not follow a national tour?
Well, I think it's just kind of it's our first year together, first full year together. It's my first full year doing strictly only sprint cars. Um, so we felt confident that if we did go on a tour that we could do well, but at the same time, I'm 18. There's no need to rush things, and really, if you're doing that, in my opinion, you you don't. I mean, you do have a lot to gain, but you also have a lot to lose. And if you go out there and just suck every night and just it goes polar opposite of what you're expecting, then it can definitely beat you and the whole team down. And I think that they just didn't want that to happen. And um, at the same time, Shane Lee Big, the owner and crew chief, he's used to racing 50 races max, not 80 to 90. So just kind of wasn't sure what to expect maybe, and didn't want to rush things and something go wrong. So I mean there was a handful of reasons. Another one would be Knoxville's right here. I needed laps at Knoxville, and Knoxville Nationals is his race. So want to get laps there and be fully prepared for that.
So when you look at your racing calendar, When you're doing a pick and choose schedule, how are you deciding which trips you want to take? How much input do you have in terms of weighing in on some facilities that you want to hit in terms of your own personal schedule?
Yeah, he at the start of the year gave me, I don't remember, I think it was three to five races that I got to pick, and he put the rest of the schedule together, and I didn't care where I raced or what I did. I just wanted to race, and um, every now and again, there will be a race that wasn't originally on the schedule that um, me or him will just say it out loud and see what everyone thinks of it, and if it makes sense logistically and um, not gonna make it a nightmare on the crew, then we might go do it. Or if everyone wants a weekend off, we might do that. So it's just kind of, it's very go with the flow over here, like just go day by day and make our plans at the time. Not really. We don't really plan a whole lot ahead.
So, do you, like you said, you're 18, lots of years ahead of you here still. Do you see yourself being a full time tour guy at some point?
Yeah, at some point for sure. I don't know when that'll be. Um, but I mean, this isn't to sound cocky or anything, but if I'm gonna be on the tour, I don't want to be running for battling for sixth, seventh place points position. I want to be battling with gravel or whoever it is for the points championship, and so I think that also played a part in us choosing to do pick and choose, just so that when we do decide to go on a tour, we're 100% ready, confident, and know we're gonna be fast.
Fair enough. I mean, it is such a commitment. There's so much work that goes into it. Obviously, alluded to it multiple times here. You definitely seem to be leaning more towards the World of Outlaws side of things. But at this point in your career, are you willing to go one route or the other, or is it really just in your head that you want to be an Outlaws guy?
To me, the Outlaws mean a lot more, and it's just kind of a bigger deal to be an Outlaw champion right now than it is to be a high limit champion, and um, means a little more to win an Outlaw race than a high. I mean, given it just depends on the race, I guess, but a regular high limit show and a regular Outlaw show, it's a little cooler to win an Outlaw show, I think, just because of the history and the years and the guys that have won Outlaw races. To put your name on the list is really neat, and um, the Outlaw guys, they ever since I've been 16 and started racing with them, they've always treated us really great, always taken care of us, and um, they've just always been really good guys to us. So it'd be hard, not to go with them if we ever did decide to do a tour, but never know.
So I know you are more new compared to other guys to the wing sprint car division. What what is your thoughts on the state of wing sprint car racing right now across North America? Do you think it is good that we have these two series going head to head, or do you think there should be more of a combined deal? Or what's your general thoughts?
I think sprint car racing's probably in terms of publicity and people watching, I think it's probably in the best state it's been. I mean, there's definitely not. Well, I mean, I don't know this, but just from watching old videos of outlaw races back in the day, it doesn't seem like there's as many people that go to the race as there used to be. But with Dirt Vision and Flow, it's bringing a ton of people in, and having podcasts like this and guys like, if you love him or hate him, whatever, guys like the Chaz,
Yeah.
uh, you know, he might stir the pot, but I mean that's what people want to see, and it's what pulls people into sprint car racing. So I think with the high limit and outlaw deal, I really don't get super into the politics of sprint car racing, but I don't think there's any way it hurts it. I don't know if it helps it that much more, but it makes it kind of like posse versus outlaws. It adds a
Yeah.
little drama to it, and it's gonna make people more invested, and make people watch more. And then you got like the betting that's new. Yeah, people probably I would guess watch sprint car racing now to strictly bet on people, which I mean, as long as they're watching, who cares? So, um, no, I think it's great. I really think sprint car racing could be as big as NASCAR one day if it was done right. I don't know what it would take to do that, but I think sprint car racing is just there's a ton of people that are involved in it and watch it and love it, and um, I think it's just not. There's also a ton of people that have never seen a sprint car or heard of one in their life, and so I think it's just really kind of like gatekeeped, if that makes sense. It just needs more. It needs to be pushed out there more, and I think with High Limit and Outlaws competing against each other, it probably pushes both of them to get their series out there more, which just brings more people into sprint car racing as a whole.
Definitely. And I think the big thing too with that is you're having stars of motorsport at all different levels come down and race in sprint cars or jump into different classes of dirt cars and put some extra eyeballs on there. Obviously, you're an Oklahoma guy. A guy like Christopher Bell obviously has a huge impact on the sport anytime he can find some time to jump behind the wheel of a dirt race car. Uh, I got to ask, being so young in the sport, what was your first moment of being starstruck by your competition in terms of like, going up against a driver, maybe on track or just even seeing them in the paddock in the pits before and being like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm about to drive and race against this guy or that guy.
Yep. It would have been my first ever outlaw race at Grand Forks in North Dakota, and it was in a heat race, and it didn't hit until the heat race, and I think I was behind. I think Shots was on the pole and Sweet was in fourth. I was in fifth or sixth or something like that, and I'm like looking at their cars, and I'm like, I don't like I normally see these guys on TV, and this is my first time seeing this blue and yellow Napa car right in front of me, and it was just kind of a surreal feeling and was really neat. But it's everyone's human, and everyone puts their pants on the same way, and um, you just can't think of it that way.
Yeah, for sure. So I want to know if you come from the background of running more open wheel style dirt cars. If you had the opportunity to run a non open wheel style car like a late model, what series of late models like would you run a super? Would you run a crate? And what track would you like to rip a late model around?
Yeah, I would definitely race a super late model just to try it. I would need a test first for
Yeah,
sure. But, I think Eldora was where I'd
yeah.
want to race a late model. I feel like that would give me. I feel like for whatever reason I don't know this, but Eldora is where I'd have the best shot of doing any good. So,
Yeah.
but I'd be very interested to see how a late model drives and um, just to see. I'd like to race one on racing conditions like in a slick racetrack like Eldora where you can run right through the middle and just see what it's
Hmm.
like to drive a late model through the slick. Because I mean, you see it happen all the time, and it's like, how are they doing that?
Yeah.
So I think it'd be really neat.
Yeah, definitely. Beef, I know we opened it up to the fans on Instagram. Should we dive into the fan questions here?
Yeah, so we got a couple of questions in here for off of the Instagram. Our first one came in from I'm gonna butcher the name Dan Culver underscore 50. Says
Hmm.
when will he be back in a midget?
Um, Chili Bowl would be my guess. I haven't even talked about Chili Bowl with anyone, so as of now, it's not a plan. But I haven't missed Chili Bowl in a while, so.
Yeah. Next one comes from Brandon Goodman Photo. Says if there was one team from the past you could crew for, who would it be? I'm guessing he means like
Okay.
way back in the day, like
Yeah, well, even to me, 2015 World Outlaws is kind of
yeah.
old to me.
Back in the
So
day.
yeah, man, I don't know. That is a good question. I would definitely want to crew for a team like in the Wolfgang Kinzer era. I think sprint car racing was a lot I think it'd be a lot more enjoyable back then. So I'd probably have to go with Doug Wolfgang or Kinzer maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll go with Wolfgang.
Okay. And the last one comes from a guy that you've raced against, Emerson Axum.
Oh Jesus.
It says, "How is he so good at blackjack?
Uh,
Are you a card shark? Is that what we're getting at here?"
no, I don't count cards. Me and Emerson, we both hey, don't let him fool you. He's good at blackjack too. We both just there's in Oklahoma and California there's 18 casinos, so
Yeah.
sometimes we go and hit those, and we are just probably the luckiest people in the world, and always win money. And it's funny, not a lot of people know this, but me and him got kicked out of Osage for card counting, and we weren't even counting. We just won a bunch of money, and they didn't like it.
Oh my god, that's funny.
If you know, you know. There's a lot of racing people there that night.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. You're taking some money off some folks that didn't like it too much, I guess.
Yeah, no, I guess that's not there. And you have a sign that just says "We accept losers" or something. Only accept losers.
Yeah.
Fair enough. One for me, I guess, being from Oklahoma, what does the Chili Bowl mean to the folks who are actually from Oklahoma? You know, it is obviously this giant national event. It's got so many eyes on it now, so much recognition. It's kind of the unofficial start to the dirt calendar in a lot of ways too. But for the actual locals, what does Chili Bowl mean to folks from Oklahoma?
Yeah. Well, I mean, everyone's answer could be different, but for me, it was the first open wheel race I think I ever went to, at least as when I think back on my first ever race I went to, I think it was that one. And um, I don't remember what year it was. I remember Rico spun out running third, went to the back and came back and finished around third. I don't remember who won, but um, yeah, my dad took me and we walked around the expo a lot and met a bunch of. I got a picture with Christopher Bell, Larson, Rico, a bunch of guys like that, and it was, growing up, that's what you look forward to every year to go watch. And we had the shootout also, which was it's just as I mean not as big a deal, but very close second. And um, I mean, I don't know why it means so much, honestly. I don't know if it's just because it's in Oklahoma. Um, and the Golden Driller, it has it's like its own aura around it. Like
Yeah.
it's just something special about it. It's really hard to win, and it's really hard to even just make the main. So I think it's and the suspense. It happens once a year, and everyone waits the entire year for it. And there's so many people watching it. It's really the only thing to watch. Um, so it's just I don't know. It's really cool, and a lot of good racers have came from Oklahoma who have won the Chili Bowl and always participate in the Chili Bowl. And it's just everyone runs it. Even you got Indy car drivers running it, sprint car guys, just guys that don't normally race midgets. They come to try to win a Golden Driller. So um, it's hard for me to answer that question. I don't know why, but it's to me the Chili Bowl used to um, be more than anything. I would have won. I'd rather win, or used to. I would have won a Golden Driller before I won 4 Knoxville Nationals. Like it was that big of a deal. And then nowadays I'm more of a Knoxville Nationals
Yeah.
wing kind of guy. But yeah, it's just I don't know. It's a really cool event. It's indoor. It's just unlike anything else. And
Yeah.
you watch guys win it. They get to do their donuts, their cage stand. They got the big spotlight on them. Everyone's cheering. It's just unmatched energy, I guess.
Yeah. So, speaking of an event like that, is there an event in dirt racing that you haven't been to or got to race in yet that is on your bucket list? Like, you want to do this?
I don't know. I've raced a lot of them. Um,
Could
the
be
first
even
one,
non sprint car event.
right,
Like,
right. Well,
yeah.
the first one that comes to mind, I've been to Gateway. It was
Okay.
when they ran the midgets there, but
Yeah.
I always wanted to race the midget at Gateway. Um, especially after the last year that they had it. That race was so awesome, and there's that's kind of like not the same as Chili Bowl, but with how many people are there and it's indoors in the stadium, it's just a really cool deal. And so I think racing a midget at Gateway would be awesome, and if they bring it back, I would definitely do it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that one's on the list. I would imagine would be pretty high. What's like your big thing to focus on for the rest of 2025? I mean, it's been a pretty solid start to the year. You got 6 wins, 17 top tens on the year, and 29 starts based on the stats that we got for you. What's the goal for the rest of 2025 when you look ahead? What's the main area that you want to improve on and feel like you'll feel like you had an accomplished season if you do this?
I would say just, well, I mean, in simple terms, win races, anything, whether it's Knoxville local shows or high limit. Well, the the main goal would be to get my first outlaw or high limit win, which I definitely think we can do. But once I just want to be in the top 5 consistently, always competing for wins at the biggest races like outlaw and high limit races. So it's a pretty simple goal, but yeah, I'd have to say just winning my first outlaw or high limit race would be the goal for this year.
Nice. So we always like to end with this question, Ryan, but what are your interests outside of racing? I know you mentioned earlier about maybe going golfing, playing basketball. Just yeah, what are you into when you're not behind the wheel?
Um, I'm a pretty simple dude. I don't really do a ton of stuff. Golf is probably number one, and then recently I've been playing a lot of basketball and mainly just for the exercise, but I have a lot of fun doing that and working out, exercise. I mean, I don't love doing that, but it's a hobby, I guess. And uh, I don't know. I just moved up in Oklahoma. There's nothing to do,
Yeah,
really. I mean, you got what I just named, but outside of that, you can go fish. But I'm not really a big fisherman. It's a little boring for me. But I like to ski, and I've never went snowboarding. I want to try snowboarding, but being up here in South Dakota, when it's winter time, I'm definitely gonna be skiing quite a bit.
yeah.
Um, but I mean, outside of that, I play video games. 2K, Madden, iRacing. Um, I like food. I like eating food. But I mean, that'd be really it. I can't think of a whole lot.
Yeah.
Were you dialed into the OKC Thunder championship run here at all, being from Oklahoma?
Yes, that's my team is Oklahoma City. So it was pretty awesome to see them win the finals. I was I've been a Thunder fan my whole life since I was a little kid and always went to the games. So it was really cool to see them do that. I wish it was with Westbrook there, but
Yeah.
I'm not gonna complain.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Durant, he can stay out. I don't care. We don't care for Durant.
Hey, our boy Shay, who's not far from down the road from where we're at,
Yep.
is that we were all pretty stoked to see that happen. So
Yep. Making us all proud.
yeah, for sure.
Well, Ryan,
Yeah.
thanks for coming on, man. It was an awesome interview, and we enjoyed talking to you, and we wish you nothing but luck with the rest of the season here in 2025, and maybe we'll get a little catch up episode near the end of the year, see how things went, and maybe what your following season plans are looking like.
Yeah, I'd love to do it again. Appreciate you guys having me on. It was a good time.
Awesome, thanks, Ryan.